Welcome to Sports News. I'm Barang Tony Uranta. Ikorodu Grammar School and Keke High School Ijaye have qualified for the semi-finals of the Season 6 of the GT Bank Lagos State Principals Cup. Ikorodu outclassed Iju Grammar School 3-0, while Keke waited for penalties to edge out Dr. Lucas College, Kirikiri, in the quarterfinal games decided at the Agege Stadium. In the girls category, Aminat Florencio scored a brace as CMS Secondary School Bariga defeated Girls High School Agege 2-0. Ikotu High School shocked Alakoto High School Ajegunle 1-0 to reach the last four. And now to Europe's most prestigious club competition. Luis Suarez dented Manchester City's hopes of reaching the Champions League quarterfinals with 2 goals as Barcelona secured a last 16 first-leg victory at the Etihad Stadium. The results means Manuel Pellegrini's side will need to score at least twice in the second leg at the new camp on the 18th of March to have a chance of reaching the last 8. In the other match this evening, former Real Madrid starlet Alvaro Morata scored in the 48th minute as Juventus earned the first leg advantage with a 2-1 win over German club Borussia Dortmund. And the FIFA task force looking into the dates for the Qatar Football World Cup has recommended a shorter tournament to be staged in November and December 2022. The task force confirmed that all options should be reviewed at a FIFA meeting in March, when the recommendation is expected to be ratified by the Executive Committee. If ratified in Zurich in March, the recommendations will set FIFA on a collision course with the major European soccer leagues who prefer an April-May option to minimize disruption to the lucrative domestic programs. Meanwhile, European clubs want to be compensated if FIFA does follow the recommendations of its task force and stages the 2022 World Cup in Qatar in November and December. Chairman of the European Club Association, ECA, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, said the recommendation of the task force regarding the FIFA World Cup in 2022 in Qatar does not come as a surprise to them at this time. And finally, Chris Gayle rediscovered his form in spectacular fashion with the first ever World Cup double century to drive the West Indies to a 73-run victory over Zimbabwe in their Pool B clash at Manuka Oval. The 35-year-old left-hander reached 200 of his 138 balls, hitting Tendai Chakara for a boundary at the 46th over. His mark eclipsed the unbeaten 188 by South Africa's Garen Christie against the United Arab Emirates in 1996. Gayle hit a total of 16 sixes in 7 balls before he was out for 215 off the last delivery of his side's innings. And with that remarkable display, we end on World Sports News for tonight. I'm Barang Tony Uranta, and Bimba will be back with a wrap.
The Czech Republic's Interior Minister has confirmed that 9 people have been killed at a restaurant in southeast of Prague. Details are still sketchy, but reports say the gunman has been shot dead. Local media say the shooter burst into the restaurant at around midday and began firing randomly. Reports said he fired about 25 rounds. Authorities believe at least 30 people were in the restaurant at the time. Now, an American woman believed to be a school proprietor is said to have been kidnapped in Ajaokuta local government area of Kogi State. The woman, described as a missionary, was reportedly whisked away by gunmen at about 10 o'clock this morning. Confirming the incident, the State Police Commissioner told newsmen that he has visited the village where the incident occurred. The United States Embassy is believed to have been informed, and the State Department and the FBI are said to be working with local authorities to find and rescue her. And it is very unfortunate, but Islamic State is believed to have abducted dozens of Assyrian Christians from villages in northeast Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that at least 90 men, women and children were seized in a series of dawn raids near the town of Tal Tamar. Here's Cynthia Are with more details.
Well, thank you indeed. It's been confirmed, and sadly, it's another case of abduction by the dreaded group that could have a very sad ending. Some Assyrians managed to escape and made their way east to the largely Kurdish-controlled city of Hasakeh. Now, speaking of abduction, masked gunmen in southern Afghanistan have abducted 30 men from the Hazara ethnic minority. No group has said it carried out the abduction so far, and kidnappings for ransom are very common in Afghanistan. Also today, the head of the UN Climate Change Panel, that's IPCC, Rahendra Pachauri, has resigned amid sexual harassment allegations. In a letter to UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, Mr. Pachauri said he was unable to provide strong leadership. The Indian police are investigating a complaint from a 29-year-old woman working in his office in Delhi. And finally, we wrap things up in Libya, where, according to Amnesty International, 7 civilians were killed when Egyptian jets attacked suspected Islamist militant targets in the eastern Libyan city of Derna last week. The organization has evidence based on eyewitness testimony, and Egypt had flown airstrikes last Monday against Islamic State targets a day after the militant group released a video showing the beheading of a group of Egyptian Coptic Christians. That's the foreign news wrap-up. It's back to you now.
Thank you, Cynthia. And the main news again. The nation has yet again been thrown into a sad mood with suicide attacks in Potiskum in Yobe and Kano states. 27 people have been killed. President Goodluck Jonathan has condemned the new tactics adopted by the Boko Haram members in the use of suicide bombers, assuring the nation again that the end is near for the group. And that brings us to the end of the news at 10 tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Do join us again tomorrow. I'm Bimbo Oluede. Have a good night.